Hello, Internet! For the benefit of all of you on YouTube watching this, this is round 6 of the Players' Cup 4. I'm currently 3-2. I've had some crazy games so far. Hopefully you've watched these, all the games so far, but we've had some really crazy games, and look at this. This is just like, actually this is the same team I think that quite a lot of people used to do very well in this tournament. Registeel, Blastoise, Spectria, Regieleki, all the rest of it. And I feel quite comfortable, or do I? Against, well, maybe comfortable is the wrong word, but I think Raichu and Zapdos looks pretty good against his team, because if it leads with the Landorus, then I've got my Defiant boost. If it leads with the Regieleki, it is compromised because I've got my Raichu here. This Blastoise was Wackenberry, I believe. Wackenberry, whichever one you call it. Another very good Italian player. Yeah, again, this is, and I meant it in the tweet. We play some of the best in Europe, in this tournament. Everyone has to qualify to get into this tournament, so everyone is good here. But I felt pretty good against that Colossal Mirror, and I didn't end up very well against that, did I? But they've led with Spectre and Blastoise here. This Blastoise has got Yawn, so I do need to be a little bit worried about that. And I believe this was the Spectre with safety goggles. So my Amoonguss doesn't do too well here. The Blastoise doesn't have Fake Out either, which means I can quite safely make this play. Which I believe I'm going to go for here. I was debating max guarding here, I believe, because he has got Blizzard on Blastoise and could be going for a max Hailstorm, but I did think he would be going for the Cannonade into my Raichu, because he knows I've got the Sash on that. Again, it's open team sheets. He knows I've got the Sash, and it's just an easy pickup of a knockout, I think, isn't it? But I go for the Protect. I'm protecting because I don't want my Moltres to... Wrong bird, Barry. I don't want my Zapdos to get burnt. And with the Electro Orb, I know that he will be Gigantamaxing his Blastoise, obviously. I know with the Electro Orb in his, into his... There's the Wilbur, into his Spectria, that Zapdos will be faster, and then I will be threatening it, in the future with an Airstream, because it's not going to be, Dynamaxing the Spectria. The problem is that I don't have many ways with my team to hit big water Pokemon. And that is actually a bit of a worry for us. So yeah, as I kind of guessed, he does just take the Raichu. But yes, I'm happy with this. My thoughts are coming together. I'm happy with this. Now, I have just lost my Raichu. Turn 1. But that Electro Web was massive, because I get to bring my Amoonguss in here and do some business. Now, yeah, yes, you saw that. I took my time. I remember this now. I took my time bringing the Amoonguss in because I didn't want to bring the Amoonguss in straight away, because I didn't want my opponent to think he's got a plan here, he knows what he's doing. I took my time there, yeah, because I got that Electro Orb off now, and especially now because I can Airstream. I can make sure I'm faster than a lot of things with my Amoonguss. So let's see. He does smartly swap the Spectre out into the Registeel, which, as predicted, yes, I'm going to Airstream into, because I have to prevent a Will-O-Wisp there. And but it doesn't matter. It doesn't matter that he's preserved his Spectre, because I'm going to be at +1 speed now. So the Electro Web was key for turn 1 there, but now I've Airstreamed, that Electro Web doesn't matter anymore, because the Spectre comes in again, it's in range of an Airstream or a Brave Bird, I can just knock it out. The mind games are real. And now this Blastoise is -1 speed. My Amoonguss is +1 speed. Blastoise goes to sleep. That's one of his turns of Gigantamax wasted. Yeah, decent damage on Regieleki as well. And this is one of the reasons why I have actually been really liking Galarian Zapdos, because Registeel is actually pretty common now, isn't it? And, you know, Zapdos is such a threat for it. I'm airstreaming... Yeah, okay, and that makes sense. I know, I'm assuming anyway, that my Amoonguss is going to be faster than the Registeel, so I can just Spore that. Blastoise could get a first turn wake, maybe it could max guard, but this airstream is safe enough into the Blastoise. If he has got Regieleki in the back, one more airstream will put my Zapdos faster than it as well. And, you know, put my Amoonguss faster than the rest of his team, potentially, as well. Aside from the Regieleki. So here's a Spectria. Yeah, this was the Spectria that was Safety Goggles. So this was a very, very nice, very safe play from my opponent here. But look at that damage. We haven't even had our Defiant activated. That's good damage on Zapdos, on Blastoise. Now again, you know, my team, Raichu, he's got the Wackenberry. Amoonguss hasn't got a Grass move on it. You know, Colossal, Dragapult, Azumarill, Zapdos, Galarian Zapdos. We haven't got many ways to touch big water Pokemon. So getting big damage off like that Airstream is actually pretty key for us. And now we're in a similar-ish position where I have to Airstream into the Spectria because I don't want to get burnt with my Zapdos. Again, it's Goggles. I can't Rage Powder or Will-O-Wisp away. Blastoise can wake up. I don't have a Grass move, as I've just said, on the Amoonguss, so I can't knock out the Blastoise here. But let's see. Oh, I actually protect the Amoonguss. That's smart, actually. Yeah, the old brain juices were working a bit more at this point. I wasn't so worried about the Registeel coming back in again on another Airstream because I'm still a Zapdos. I'm still threatening it. This Blastoise did have Blizzard, so I was thinking if the Blastoise wakes up, if it goes for... Thank you, Nathan, for subscribing there. Oh, Barry. Yeah, okay, I've just got yawned. I remember this now. Yeah, I was thinking if he woke up and Blizzarded, it would keep my Amoonguss alive. It would keep it around. And my Zapdos would survive it anyway because it's spread damage, not stab. It wouldn't do that much damage and would be fine. But I completely just overlooked the fact that he's got a yawn on the Blastoise there. Yeah, thank you very much, Nathan. Subscribing. Azumarill doing lots of business for us in this tournament and on the screen just there as well. But Zapdos was my way of ploughing through his team. And now we've been yawned. Blastoise can yawn again. Can potentially Blizzard to knock out the Amoonguss. It's threatening. But if I don't Spore the Registeel, then it can Iron Defense. It can get its business going. And Zapdos is my way of touching this Registeel. And if it gets going with its Iron Defenses, I'm not going to be able to touch the Registeel, am I? So I do withdraw the Zapdos, expecting him to maybe Blizzard here. Azumarill can obviously, you know, take a Blizzard quite well. I was alright letting my Amoonguss go down here if it was a Blizzard for getting this Registeel asleep. Or even if it's not asleep, it's not Iron Defensing. And then I'd get a free swap back into the Zapdos, and I'd threaten with the Zapdos and the Amoonguss next turn. But he makes a very nice play. And he yawns into what was my Zapdos, which does make a lot of sense. You know, either Zapdos goes to sleep, which would be very good for him because the Zapdos is a threat, or if I swap it, whatever I swap in is getting yawned as well, which is not great. But because he didn't Blizzard, I have still got my Amoonguss. I have still got my +3 speed Amoonguss. Which outspeeds Blastoise. I think his Blastoise has got Protect. I think I was expecting him to Protect here with the Blastoise. What does he do? I don't want my Azumarill to go to sleep. So it does make a lot of sense to bring the Zapdos in. Oh, yeah. This is actually a very nasty end to the game. Yeah. Okay. Because he's Registeel and he's faster than my Azumarill, he gets his Landorus in before I can get my Zapdos in, so I don't get the oh yeah, yeah. I don't get my yeah, he does have Protect on the Blastoise. I don't get my Defiant boost, but I think this Landorus is Life Orb. It's not Lumberry, and my Mungus is still +3 speed. And so now, I don't want to Brave Bird and take a lot of recoil. He has got a Registeel in the back, so it makes a lot of sense to close combat here. Close combat is safe into the Blastoise, it'll knock it out. And Amoonguss is faster than Landorus, I can put it to sleep. Again, I've got him covered on this turn. If he swaps a Landorus into Registeel, fine, you know, Spore, it is asleep, I think, isn't it? Then, you know, Spore is wasted, he still gets knocked out with the Blastoise. I've got him pinned, haven't I? Blastoise goes down to the close combat. The worry is if/when the Landorus wakes up. That is the worry. Because my Amoonguss is so fast, you know, it's sporing it first. It's just used its first turn of sleep there. So Landorus can wake up, 1 in 3 chance to wake up next turn. I'm thinking, okay, I've got Azumarill in the back. Azumarill is better against Landorus than it is against Registeel, obviously. So it is safe for me here to just close combat into the Registeel. And I am protecting my Moongus here, because if the Landorus does wake up, I don't want to get Earthquaked. Blastoise has Protect Your Blizzard Hydro Cannon. That is correct, yes. I was fearful here of the Registeel waking up and protecting. Actually, even if that did happen, the Landorus waking up, a Rock Slide. I'm -1 defense on my Zapdos. I doubt that critical hit mattered. Of course it didn't. No, I'm Life Orb. You know, it's it's a lot of damage coming there. Actually, it would have. Yeah, of course I'm in Rock Slide range. Yeah. So that was my fear. Yeah. Of him waking up with his Registeel, protecting, Rock Sliding with the Landorus. If that was the case, we would have been in a bad-ish position. Amoonguss would have been able to have spored one of his Pokemon next turn. And I would have had to try to belly drum with the Azumarill, but it wouldn't have been an easy way out of the game by all means. But at this point in the game, Amoonguss, we've got a Landorus, we've got a Zapdos, and we've got an Amoonguss on the field, and the Amoonguss is the fastest thing. But yeah, at this point, I just need to do as much damage to the Landorus as possible, because, you know, just get it in range of Aqua Jet in the back and we win the game, don't we? Landorus does actually wake up there. And Rock Slides, because he wants to knock the Zapdos out, but he knocks himself out with a Life Orb there. So that was probably the longest game of longest individual game of this tournament so far. The juices are working. Barry's juices are sloshing around in his head a little bit more. I think I think we played that game quite well, but I suppose at the same time, I think I've got a pretty good matchup against his team, and so it's easy to think that I played well because I kind of had the initiative for most of the turns in the game there, so of course I would feel that way. But let's see. He's a good player, obviously. We're both at 3-2 here. And I've just won the first game. So, can we win the second game? Now, I was worried. Yeah. Good old Barry Juices sloshing around. But I was worried. I think I'm just doing the same thing, aren't I? Yeah, I'm going with Raichu, Zapdos, Azumarill, Amoonguss, because it just works, doesn't it? I mean, it covers. I think Raichu, Zapdos covers covers everything that he could lead. Apart from the things that I am worried about are the Blastoise, because again, look at my team. I can't touch big, bulky water Pokemon very well with this team. So Tapu Fini is a bit of a, Tapu Fini is a bigger problem because, it hits Zapdos for super effective damage as well. Stab, super effective damage. And the Grimmsnarl. I was a bit worried about the Grimmsnarl, but with open team sheets, one of the best things about open team sheets is you can see if the Grimsnarl has got, trick and lagging tail or eject button or whatever. You can see there's no element of surprise with the Grimsnarl. But I was worried about the Grimsnarl. The sun is setting here, so my green screen is sort of messing up. I'll sort it out after this game. Whew. So how is he going to adjust? Because last game he led Landorus and... No, he didn't. He led Blastoise and something. He led Blastoise and Spectria. It is Assault Vest Dragapult, yeah. Just because I'm 4 attacks, and I didn't think Goggles would be that useful, or Colbur Berry was another option just so that I could survive Sucker Punches and stuff. But Assault Vest just made it somewhat of a threat itself. But yeah, he's actually led with the Grimmsnarl here, which did worry me. I don't think this one has got Trick. And again, there's the Goggles on the Spectria, so I can't rely on Amoonguss to redirect Will-O-Wisps and stuff away. I don't think this Grimmsnarl had Fake Out, so I think I am still somewhat safe to just detect an Electro Web again. But this Grimmsnarl can do something. Yeah, actually, is not even... Yeah. I remember this turn now, and I'm thinking... Yeah. I'm thinking... I knew he wasn't going to Will-O-Wisp, because my play was just very safe to do the same thing that I did turn 1. I was very, very, very close to just attacking with my Zapdos there. My Dragapult is Surf, but I've got Dragon Darts, Phantom Force, and Fly on it, just so that it can be an offensive threat itself as well. But yeah, I was so close to just attacking with Zapdos. Here's the Amoonguss, but because we did get the Electro Web off, we saw how key it was in the last game that allowed us to... Oh, this Grimmsnarl has got Thunder Wave, I'm remembering now. And that is why he aggressively got rid of my my Raichu, because he can just Thunder Wave stuff now. But again, we know from game 1 just how much of a threat Zapdos is against the whole of his team, especially when it gets the 1-up on his Spectria, which is the biggest thing that can hinder my Zapdos with the Will-O-Wisp. Because we did get that Electro Web, yeah, we might have lost the Raichu turn 1, but that was such a key in Electro Web still. He doesn't have Taunt on this Grimmsnarl, so as long as I don't get fully paralyzed here, in theory, I can just Rage Powder and go through his team again with Zapdos, can't I? Or can I? Let's see. Let's see how it plays out. Yeah, so there's the Thunder Wave. I don't like to leave Grimmsnarl on the field longer than I'd like, really, just because it can do so many tricky things, so many nasty things. But at least we've got rid of the Spectria. And, to be honest, we're still in a decent position, aren't we? Because we can still Rage Powder, barring the 1 in 4 chance to get fully paralyzed. Zapdos is a threat against the whole of his team now. Apart from the Regieleki, which we, I suppose, can Rage Powder, and the Blastoise could be a bit of a threat as well still. Although, I think we saw the 2 Airstreams with the Life Orb. It is a Regieleki. Might two-shot it, but I think, does he have Reflect on this Grimmsnarl? I don't really remember. But, because he doesn't bring the Blastoise in, Regieleki is his only answer to Zapdos. So I'm going to get cheeky here. I don't have to Rage Powder. I don't have to risk a paralysis on the first turn he's brought the Zapdos in. The Regieleki in. And I think he has got Reflect. I think he did have the Focus Sash on the Regieleki, which makes this play make even more sense. Because, yeah, I don't get fully paralyzed. I do get the Sludge Bomb into the Regieleki. That's a lot of damage. That is a critical hit, and we do get the poison. That was a lucky turn. Well, it was a lucky turn. Yes, it was a very lucky turn. But if it was a key turn, I'm not sure. Because, well, I mean, it just depends on if we get fully paralyzed or not. Because, like, if we can just keep Rage Powdering. Like, yeah, he can Electro Web. That's not going to do much damage to my Zapdos. It'll give me Defiant boost. But as long as I don't get fully paralyzed with my Amoonguss here, I can just keep on redirecting everything away. And I believe I don't need any more Airstreams. Well, yeah, okay. I don't need any more Airstreams. I don't get fully paralyzed. Fantastic. I just go for the Knuckle into... And he's hoping his only way to have a chance here is I get fully paralyzed, which makes sense. So he was going to try and Thunder Wave and Thunderbolt into my Zapdos there. Don't get fully paralyzed. I guess without the critical hit and poison last turn, I would have had to have knuckled into the Regieleki this turn, which, okay, I would have missed out on a bit of damage on the Grimmsnarl. Wouldn't have been that much of a... Wouldn't have made that much of a difference, I don't think. But just because we did get those two things, it does allow me to ignore the Regieleki this turn, because I could see that poison was going to knock it out there. So now we get to see what his last Pokemon is. And it's Landorus. And this might look good, but it's not yet, because he hasn't used his Dynamax. And mine's over. And he's got Reflect up. And I've lost my Raichu. So I've only got Azumarill in the back. Azumarill is obviously very good against the Grimmsnarl. And can do good damage to the Landorus. But yeah, you can see that I'm +1 speed on Zapdos. I was actually kind of kicking myself a little bit, thinking maybe I was too greedy last turn going for that Knuckle, because another Airstream would have made sure that Zapdos would have been faster for, if I do get fully paralyzed on the Amoonguss, I would have been in the Thunder Waves my Zapdos. I would have been faster and got one hit off, at least on his Zapdos there, on his Landorus there. So maybe I was a little bit greedy there, because I'm not sure that Knuckle, was going to do too much for me. I don't know. Let's see. But I need to hope again that I don't get fully paralyzed with the Amoonguss. We don't, again, thankfully. Which means I do get an attack off with Zapdos. Again, he's hoping that I do get fully paralyzed. Grimmsnarl can't do too much anyway. Brave Bird, +2 with the Reflect up. Actually, it's a 2-shot on this Landorus. That's really good. The Airstream, Amoonguss has done the business here, hasn't it? Amoonguss has really done the business. And it doesn't survive that. So, now... And he's just got his own speed boost there as well. Now we are in a bit of a precarious situation, are we not? Because I've got my Azumarill here. And I can't just safely Belly Drum, can I? I think Belly Drumming would not be a good play here, because if he attacks into me... Oh, I don't know. Maybe it is. Maybe I do need to Belly Drum. I'm going for the Belly Drum. Am I going for the... I am going for the Belly Drum. Okay, I'm doing this then thinking that if he attacks into the Azumarill with the Landorus, he's not attacking into my Zapdos with the Landorus. And as long as I don't get fully paralyzed, assuming Thunder Waves my Zapdos, I will knock out his Zapdos, his Landorus. Hopefully he can follow with me messing up all these names. If I Belly Drum here, if he attacks into my Azumarill, is not attacking into my Zapdos, and if I don't get fully paralyzed, I knock out his Landorus. And then Azumarill and Zapdos should hopefully beat the Grimmsnarl from where he is right now. He does target into the Azumarill, and I'm thinking, well, my theory, as long as I don't get fully paralyzed, should come true. I should be fine here, shouldn't I? But that did a lot more damage to Azumarill and 1 HP survival than I was expecting. We don't get fully paralyzed. We do knock out the Landorus. This is a lot of recoil damage, though. Ooh, man. But, okay, my Zapdos is at +1 speed, but I'm paralyzed. There's my fail of Belly Drum. I'm thinking at this point, if I'd just gone for a play rough, I would have won the game if I'd hit it. But I didn't. And I'm thinking, well, I'm still fine because he can only target one of my Pokemon. I just need to either hit a play rough or not get fully paralyzed, and I win the game. And we get fully paralyzed. He correctly targets the non-paralyzed Pokemon, and it knocked us out. I was kind of thinking that Azumarill might survive that. And at this point, I thought, well, I've lost the game then, haven't I? Without realizing that actually Zapdos got fully paralyzed before the Grimmsnarl moved. Do we get fully paralyzed again? No, we don't. And, yeah, I think you still got Reflect up there, but I am Life Orb, I am +2, Close Combat Neutral. We win the game with 4 HP remaining. That was a set. That was a set. I enjoyed those 2 games. Clearly, I won them. But, wow. That was a set and a half again. But yeah, I'm happy. I was satisfied, obviously, but I was happy with that set because that set, more than any of the others in this tournament, I felt demonstrated what I wanted to do with this team, what I wanted to do with Zapdos. Zapdos and Raichu was such a good combination in that set. And even though I lost Raichu turn 1 on both games, getting that Electro Web, and his Spectre didn't have Protect either, so the Electro Web was safe. And Sash on Raichu as well, so even if he did, Cannonade and Shadow Ball, whatever, into my Raichu, I was always going to be getting the Electro Web off, 5% of missing. The Electro Web was always safe against the Spectre, but that Electro Web turn 1 of both those games was so big, because that allowed my Zapdos to outspeed the Spectre, got my Amoonguss in as well, which was faster than a lot of his team, and we had so much offensive pressure on him with the Airstreams, with the Spores. The Grimmsnarl was a really good adaptation from him in that game just there, and wow, yeah, that was actually a very scary game. But again, I mean, just like in the last set, I think it was the last set, where I taunted the Porygon 2 instead of close combating it, I made another play there where I thought, well, I won the game if I made the other move. If I went for the Belgium there. Like, let's say I did just go for a play rough there, and he does target into the Zapdos. A play rough wouldn't have knocked the Landorus out, but then the Aquajet would have, but then I would have been playing around with full paralysis chances as well from the Grimmsnarl, which would have paralyzed my Azumarill. So yeah, maybe that was a safer way of doing it, but both ways that we could have played that were risking full paralysis chances, I guess. So yeah, I'm 4-2 now. I'm 4-2 in this tournament. Whew. And I'm going to sort this green screen out. So, okay, for the benefit of those watching on YouTube, thank you very much. And goodbye. Catch us on the next set.